has already begun to slow. 4 quiet places are waiting in a single line. Nothing will rush you from one to the next. The hours can blur without effort. This is one long stretch of calm. The spaces will change, but the pace will not. And the night will keep carrying you forward. The stone door is already closed behind you. A single lantern line remains on along the corridor. The city above has gone quiet. Nothing down here is waiting to be found. You don't need to listen closely. The words can stay in the background, like footsteps that never arrive. The passage runs straight beneath the cathedral floor. Archways repeat at steady intervals. Cold stone holds its shape without sound. A thin strip of light rests on each step. No flicker, no change. The air feels dry and still. Iron brackets hold lanterns along the wall. Glass stays clear. Flames do not move. Shadows remain shallow on the carved stone. Letters on old plaques stay readable. No dust falls from the ceiling. A side alcove opens to the left. It holds a wooden bench and a sealed cabinet. The cabinet latch stays flat. A brass label reads, "Records." The door does not open. Nothing inside shifts. Farther down, the floor changes to worn flagstones. Edges are smooth from years of passing. Tonight, no one passes. A drain channel runs along the center seam. It stays dry. No drip reaches it. The lantern line continues. Warm light against cold stone. The pattern becomes familiar. Your steps would echo here. None do. Only the faint breath of ventilation remains. Behind a metal grate, a stairwell drops into darker levels. The grate is locked. A padlock sits centered in its loop. A small tag hangs from the lock. It stays straight. No air turns it. On the wall beside the grate, a map is pinned under glass. Thin lines show tunnels and sealed doors. A red mark shows, "You are here." The map does not change. It simply remains. Time loosens in the corridor. Minutes stop feeling separate. The repeating arches replace the clock. Light stays steady. Stone stays steady. Nothing presses forward. A narrow door appears at the next arch. Its surface is heavy oak with iron bands. A keyhole sits dark and unused. A tiny green indicator above the frame stays on. No beep sounds. No access is requested. Beyond the door, the corridor continues. Lanterns repeat. Plaques repeat. Silence repeats. The space feels controlled and calm, even with its hidden depth. At the far end, another stone door stands closed. Its seal line is clean. No draft slips through. A warning sign reads, archive level. Letters remain sharp. The sign does not sway. You pause beside a pillar. Carved grooves run down its face. They are cool to the touch. No vibration travels through the stone. No sound rises from below. The passage holds its quiet state. A relay clicks once somewhere behind the wall. One click. Then the same stillness returns. No alarm follows. No light changes color. The lantern line continues to burn. The arches continue to repeat. The doors continue to remain shut. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The corridor stays steady beneath the cathedral, quiet and contained, as the night continues above the stone ceiling. A second corridor branches under a low arch. A chain hangs across it. Links remain still. A small placard reads, "Restricted access." The letters are worn but clear. Nothing asks to pass. Beyond the chain, the air looks darker, as if the light does not reach as far. Near the ceiling, a thin pipe follows the curve of stone. Clamps hold it in place. No hiss comes from it. A pressure gauge sits in a metal frame. The needle stays fixed. The glass stays dry. In a wall niche, a row of candles rests behind glass. No flame is lit. Wax remains untouched. A lock on the niche door stays closed. The keyhole is dark. No hand reaches for it. The corridor turns once to the right. The lanterns continue their spacing. Light pools, then releases into shadow. The sound of the cathedral above is absent. No choir, no organ, only stone and air. Your breathing stays quiet. The passage stays quiet with it. A small sensor panel is set into the wall. One green light remains on. No red arrives. A thin cable disappears into the stone. It does not move. Nothing changes its state. Farther on, the floor rises by 3 shallow steps. Each step holds a thin line of light. Edges remain clean. A bronze grate sits flush in the top step. No draft comes through. No echo answers from below. You stop near another plaque. The letters are deep and old. They name rooms you cannot see. Vault, reliquary, service tunnel. The plaque remains cold to the touch. A distant knock travels once through the stone. Not close, not repeated. It fades quickly. The corridor returns to the same stillness. The lantern line continues. The arches continue. The locked doors continue. The passage remains steady, hidden and calm, while the cathedral sleeps above. No latch turns. No light shifts. The air stays even. Stone holds the corridor in place. The lanterns keep their low glow, and the hidden passage remains unchanged, quietly waiting for nothing at all. through the remaining hours tonight. The lantern line remains steady along the stone. No bracket shifts, no glass fogs. The light stays calm. At the oak door, the indicator remains green. The keyhole stays dark. No request is made. Iron bands hold their cold shine. The wood does not creak. Past the next arch, the floor seams stay clean. The drain channel remains dry. No drop reaches the stone. A small grit line rests near the wall. It does not move. Behind the locked grate, the stairwell stays darker. The padlock remains centered. The tag hangs straight. No chain clicks below. No echo rises up. On the map under glass, the red mark stays fixed. Tunnel lines remain thin and clear. Nothing updates. The frame holds tight to the wall. A narrow recess holds a metal box with a numbered seal. The seal remains intact. No latch lifts. A label reads, Panel A. Letters remain sharp. Farther on, the chain across the restricted branch stays still. Links do not sway. The placard remains readable. Beyond the chain, darkness stays thick. No light spills farther. Near the ceiling pipe, the pressure gauge holds its needle. No twitch, no drift. The glass remains dry. Clamps keep their spacing. No vibration travels through them. At the candle niche, wax remains untouched behind glass. The small lock stays closed. No key turns. A faint reflection of lantern light rests on the pane, then fades again. 3 shallow steps rise to the bronze grate. Each step holds a thin line of light. Edges remain clean. No draft comes through the grate. No sound answers from below. A relay behind the wall clicks once. Not louder. Not followed. The corridor returns to its baseline quiet. The carved grooves on the pillar remain cool. Dust stays settled in the cuts. No grain falls. Stone holds the passage in place. Another plaque names a level you cannot reach. The letters remain deep. The surface stays cold. Nothing in the corridor responds. The lanterns continue their spacing. The doors remain shut. The hidden passage stays calm. No movement arrives, and the night continues above the ceiling. A thin service hatch sits low between 2 arches. Its screws remain seated. A seal line stays unbroken. A small metal tag reads, Section 3. The tag does not lift. Along the wall, a cable disappears into a drilled channel. Clips hold it flat to the stone. No warmth rises from it. A tiny status LED the far stone door marked archive level, the seam stays tight. No air slips through. No handle shifts. The warning sign remains fixed in its bolts. The letters do not fade. Somewhere above, the cathedral remains silent. No footstep crosses the nave. No bell sounds. Down here, the lanterns keep their low glow. A shallow puddle does not form anywhere. Stone stays dry under the light. Even the air feels held. You pause once more. Then the corridor remains the same, quiet and contained, with nothing asking to be opened. The light continues. Now, after midnight, the radar dome is already open. A narrow beam keeps sweeping the same arc. Control lights remain steady on the console. Nothing is about to change. You don't need to follow any details. The words can stay in the background, like a slow pulse moving through a hidden system. The station sits on a high ridge above an empty basin. Steel steps lead to a single insulated door. A thin seal line stays clean around the frame. Inside, the equipment room is cool and dry. Panels glow in dim rows. Fans hold one low, even tone. At the center, the radar dish turns under a white dome. Its motor does not surge. Its speed does not drift. Each rotation repeats the last. A timing screen shows one stable number. No countdown begins. No alert banner appears. Along the wall, racks hold receiver modules in neat slots. Green indicators remain on. Blue indicators blink in measured intervals. A spare module case stays latched on a shelf. Tags hang straight. Nothing is removed. Outside the dome opening, the sky stays clear and dark. No aircraft light crosses the beam. No cloud edge passes over the ridge. Below, the basin holds no road lights. No vehicle climbs the access track. Distance remains still. A pressure gauge near the cooling line holds its needle. The glass stays clear. No condensation forms on the rim. A relay clicks once behind the panel. One click. Then the baseline fan tone returns. A narrow walkway circles the inner dome. Handrails remain cold to the touch. No step crosses the grate. A service switch cover stays down near the motor housing. Paint marks remain aligned. No adjustment begins. On the desk, a long sheet lies open to a blank line. A pencil rests in its clip. No note is needed tonight. A small clock advances without sound. You do not follow it. The room does not react. The dish continues to sweep its quiet arc. The beam leaves the dome, crosses open air, and returns. Nothing answers it. Sensors continue to read. Power continues to hold. The station remains steady. A weather mast stands outside the door on a short pole. Its wind cups barely move. A tiny temperature light blinks once, then pauses. The mast does not rattle. The pole does not flex. The ridge air stays gentle and thin. Inside the rack room, a battery cabinet sits under a vent. One green lamp remains on. A second lamp remains off. A fan in the cabinet turns. Its tone stays level. No heat builds behind the grill. A laminated checklist is clipped to the side of the console. Rows are printed in plain text. No box is marked for this hour. A spare keyring rests in a labeled tray. Keys do not shift. Near the dome wall, a tool drawer remains closed. Its handle stays centered. No metal clinks. Its strap remains straight. The switch stays off. A narrow cable run follows the floor edge toward the motor. Clips hold the line in even spacing. No connector loosens. A warning label reads, "High voltage." Letters remain sharp in the dim light. No cover plate lifts. The timing screen holds its number. The digits do not step forward in a visible jump. They remain stable, as if anchored. A second monitor shows a flat trace. No spike breaks it. The line stays calm. A soft click comes from the rotation controller. Not a fault, a routine confirmation. Then only the fans remain. The dish keeps turning overhead. Outside the dome slit, the beam sweeps across open air. It touches nothing you can see. It returns without resistance. The sky stays clear. The stars remain fixed. The ridgeline stays dark. Below, the basin remains silent. A distant river line reflects no light. The roads remain empty. No headlight approaches the ridge. No sound climbs from the valley floor. A thin seam of frost rests along a metal bracket near the door. It does not spread. It does not melt. The station holds its temperature. The air remains dry. You stand beside the handrail on the inner walkway. The metal feels cool. Your step makes a small sound on the grate. The sound fades quickly. The dome returns to its baseline hum. At the edge of the console, a folded chart lies under a clear sleeve. Grid lines remain visible. No page turns. A pencil mark sits on one corner. It does not change. It stays as a quiet reference. The receiver racks continue to glow. Each module shows the same pattern. No red light appears. The blue blink remains measured. The green lamps remain steady. The system holds its calm. A faint contraction sounds in the dome skin, cold settling against steel. Then silence returns. Outside, the ridge remains calm. Inside, the lights remain dim. The sweep continues without hurry. The basin below stays dark and complete. The access road remains empty. The horizon line remains sharp. Nothing starts. Nothing ends. The radar keeps turning above the silent basin, quiet and unchanged, through the long hours before dawn. The sweep continues under the dome without change. No motor tone shifts, no bearing warms. The rotation holds its pace. The being leaves the housing and returns again. Nothing answers it. Nothing interrupts it. On the console, the same indicators remain. Green lamps stay steady. Blue pulses keep their interval. No new message appears on the timing screen. Digits hold their value. No banner forms. Along the inner walkway, the handrail stays cool. Bolts remain tight in their brackets. No step crosses the grate. A service cover near the motor housing stays down. Paint marks remain aligned. No latch moves. Outside the door, the weather mast holds still. Wind cups barely move. The temperature light blinks once, then pauses. No gust presses the ridge. No rattle reaches the dome. Inside the receiver racks, modules keep their pattern. No red light appears. No fuse trips. A cabinet fan keeps its low tone. It does not rise. It does not fade. The battery cabinet remains calm under the vent. One green lamp stays on. The second lamp stays off. No charge alarm sounds. No heat builds behind the grill. A relay clicks once within the controller. One click. Then the baseline hum returns. The sweep continues. The arc repeats. Beyond the dome opening, the sky remains clear. Stars stay fixed. No aircraft light crosses the beam. Below, the basin remains unlit. No headlight climbs the access road. Distance stays still. On the desk, the log sheet remains blank. The pencil stays clipped. No note is needed. A clock hand advances without sound. You do not follow it. A thin seam of frost remains on a bracket near the door. It does not spread. It does not melt. The air stays dry. The room holds its temperature. A folded chart remains under its clear sleeve. Grid lines stay visible. No page turns. A small mark on the corner stays as it is. Nothing shifts it. The beam sweeps across open air again. It touches nothing you can see. It returns without resistance. Nothing starts. Nothing ends. The radar keeps turning above the silent basin, quiet and unchanged, through the next slow stretch of night. Near the entrance, a keypad light remains steady. No code is entered. The latch stays closed. A small rubber mat lies flat on the floor. Corners do not curl. No dust lifts from its edge. At the base of the dome, a warning placard remains readable. High RF. Keep clear. Letters stay sharp in the dim light. A coil of spare cable rests in neat loops on a shelf. Each loop holds its circle. No end slips free. Outside, a single marker lamp on the ridge fence glows faintly. It does not blink. It simply marks the boundary line. No vehicle approaches the gate. No sound climbs from the basin floor. The station remains steady. A small screen on the wall shows link, OK. The text does not change. No reconnect begins. The dome keeps its arc. The lights keep their level. The night remains quiet. No footsteps return. The ridge holds silence. The sweep continues in the same calm arc. No indicator changes color. No message appears. The console holds its steady lights. Outside, the basin remains dark. No headlight climbs the access road. No sound reaches the ridge. The horizon stays still. On the walkway, the handrail stays cold. No step crosses the grate. No latch moves on the service cover. A relay confirms the controller once. One click. Then the baseline hum returns. The rotation does not drift. The weather-mast light blinks once and pauses. Wind cups barely move. No gust presses the dome. The long sheet remains blank. The pencil remains clipped. No note is needed. The clock advances without attention. The beam leaves the dome and returns again. Nothing answers it. Nothing interrupts it. The station remains steady above the silent basin, quiet and unchanged as the night continues toward morning. After closing time, the laundromat stays softly lit. Washers sit silent in 2 long rows. A single dryer turns down, then stops. Nothing is waiting for you. You don't need to focus. The words can stay in the background, like warm air moving through clean room. The front door is locked behind a metal grate. Neon in the window holds a steady glow. Outside, the street is quiet and wet. Inside, the floor is clean tile with faint reflections. No footsteps cross the aisles. No carts roll. A stack of wire baskets rests near the change machine. Handles are nested. Nothing shifts. Along the left wall, washers hold their round doors shut. Glass portholes reflect the ceiling lights. No water fills. No drum moves. A soap shelf runs above the machines. Bottles stand in a neat line. Caps remain tight. On the right, dryers sit in bright rectangles. Their lint doors are closed. Their timers show zeros. No heat rises now. A vending machine hums near the back. Its coils hold detergent packs in place. No bag drops. A small TV above the folding table is off. The screen stays dark. No sound plays. The folding table is empty and wiped clean. A spray bottle sits under it, label facing out. A rag lies folded beside the sink. Water in the sink does not run. The faucet remains dry. No drip reaches the basin. Air moves from a ceiling vent in a steady loop. Not cold, not warm, just even. A fluorescent tube clicks once as it settles. Then the light stays constant. Time loosens in the hum of the room. Minutes stop feeling separate. The quiet becomes routine. Near the dryers, a lost sock sits on a corner shelf. Gray fabric turned inside out. It does not move. A price sign above the change machine remains readable. Coins clink nowhere. The return slot stays still. The change machine shows a steady green. No button is pressed. No bill is fed in. In the far corner, a rolling cart is parked with its brakes set. Wheels are still. The handle stays upright. A window fan is off behind its grill. No blades turn. Dust on the frame remains undisturbed. Outside the glass, a streetlight holds a pale pool on asphalt. No headlights sweep past. The reflections do not change. A dryer door catches a thin line of light, then releases it, then catches it again as you shift your angle. Nothing starts. Nothing ends. The laundromat keeps its calm shape, softly lit and orderly, until morning opens the door and the first cycle begins. Behind the folding table, a narrow staff door stays closed. A small sign reads, "Employees only." The handle remains centered. No latch clicks. A broom leans beside the door. Its bristles stay dry. A dustpan rests against the wall. Nothing tips over. On the counter near the sink, a stack of paper towels sits full. The dispenser edge stays clean. A hand soap pump remains capped. No squirt. No drip. A stainless drain cover sits flush in the tile. No water reaches it. No echo returns from below. One washer has a handwritten note taped to its glass. Out of order. The tape corners remain flat. The note does not flutter. Beside it, the next washer shows a clean, empty drum. The door stays shut. The latch holds firm. A row of dryer vents runs high along the back wall. Grills remain clear. No lint shakes loose. The air carries a faint scent of detergent and warm metal. It stays the same from one aisle to the next. At the change machine, the bill slot is dark. The coin tray is empty. The keypad lights stay on, but untouched. A small sticker lists prices in plain numbers. It does not peel. It remains in place. Outside, rain continues to slide down the window. Thin lines join and separate. Streetlight reflections stretch, then settle. No car passes close enough to brighten the glass. The outside remains distant and quiet. You move once along the aisle between washers and dryers. The tile stays firm under your steps. The sound fades quickly. The room returns to its baseline hum, even, unhurried, complete. A small camera dome watches from a ceiling corner. Its indicator stays faint. It does not turn. Above the detergent machine, coils hold their packets. A spiral label remains readable. No purchase light flashes. On the wall, a posted sign lists quiet rules and hours. The paper stays flat under clear tape. No corner lifts. One last dryer timer shows 00. The display stays unchanged. The drum remains still. Near the door, a rubber mat lies flat. Corners do not curl. A single leaf rests on it. It does not move when air passes. The ceiling vent continues its low breath. The washers remain closed. The dryers remain still. A clock above the door advances without sound. No one looks up. The room does not react. The lost sock remains on the shelf. The baskets remain stacked. The folding table remains empty. And the quiet continues, steady and complete, as the night holds the laundromat in place. Nothing changes. The room stays quiet. The neon in the window keeps its steady color. No door unlocks. No bell rings. The grate stays down. Along a washer row, glass portholes hold the same dull reflection. A small coin slot stays dark. No selector knob turns. A detergent bottle label catches light once, then fades. Caps remain tight. Nothing tips. At the dryers, lint doors stay closed. Timers remain at 0. A metal handle feels cool if you touch it. Heat does not rise now. Only the low room hum continues. A ceiling vent sends air across the folding table. The flow is gentle. It does not move the folded rag. Paper towel edges remain square. No sheet tears away. Outside the window, rain lines merge and separate. One thin stream runs faster, then slows. Streetlight reflections stretch, then settle. No car passes close enough to change the glow. A fluorescent tube makes a tiny, settling sound. Not a flicker, just a soft adjustment. Then, steady light again. The out-of-order note stays flat on the taped washer door. Corners remain stuck. Ink remains clear. The empty drum behind the glass stays still. No water arrives. Near the change machine, the green light remains on. The bill slot stays dark. The coin tray stays empty. No button is pressed. No clink is heard. The stacked baskets remain nested at the front. Wire handles do not shift. A single basket edge throws a thin shadow on tile. The shadow stays in place. The lost sock remains on the shelf by the dryers. Fabric stays inside out. No draft lifts it. becomes part of the row like a small marker. In the staff corner, the broom leans at the same angle. The dustpan stays against the wall. Nothing falls. The employee's only sign stays readable. The handle does not move. A camera dome remains fixed near the ceiling. Its indicator stays faint. No motion triggers anything. The room stays quiet and watched, without reaction. You sit for a moment on the plastic chair by the table. The seat is cool. The legs do not rock. The floor remains clean beneath you. Tile lines stay straight. A dryer display shows 00. It does not change. It does not dim. The laundromat holds its late-night pause. Air continues to move. Light continues to hold. Water stays outside the glass. Nothing starts. Nothing ends. The quiet remains steady and complete until the first key turns in the morning. Near the detergent vending machine, coils hold packets in place. A small price sticker stays centered on the glass. No purchase light flashes. A faint motor warmth sits behind the panel. It never grows. It never fades. Above the folding table, the TV screen remains black. No channel logo appears. No volume changes. The remote rests in a shallow tray. Buttons remain untouched. At the sink, the faucet stays dry. Metal holds a cool shine. No drip reaches the basin. The soap pump remains capped. The cap stays aligned. No scent changes in the air. A stainless drain cover sits flush in the tile. No water reaches it. No echo returns. A rubber mat lies flat near the front door. Corners stay down. The single leaf on the mat does not move. Even when airflow passes, it stays where it fell. Along the back wall, vent grills remain clear. No lint shakes loose. No new sound comes from the duct. The hum stays even, then becomes easy to forget. In the window, the neon keeps its steady glow. Rain continues to slide down the glass. Inside, everything stays arranged and still. The room stays ready. After midnight, the yard is locked behind a chain gate. Signal lamps remain on along the tracks. Rails hold their straight lines in the dark. Nothing is scheduled to move. No attention is required. The words can stay behind the scene, like electricity resting in steel. A service road runs beside the ballast. Gravel lies flat between sleepers. No tire mark crosses the dust. Floodlights sit high on poles. Their glow does not sweep. Shadows stay where they fall. Switch motors are silent in their housings. Levers remain fixed in their brackets. Paint marks stay aligned at the points. A control cabinet stands near the junction. One green lamp stays lit. No alarm color appears. Farther down, a A signal bridge spans the lines. Red and amber lenses hold their dim shine. Nothing changes state. A ladder climbs the side of the bridge. Rungs remain dry. No boot touches the metal. Along the fence line, warning signs repeat. Authorized personnel only. Keep clear of tracks. Letters remain sharp under the lamps. The chain remains tight. The gate does not move. A trackside phone is mounted on a post. The handset stays in place. No call light appears. A camera dome watches the switch. Its indicator stays faint. It does not turn. A striped buffer stop sits at the end of a short spur. The beam remains scuffed but solid. No wheel meets it. Beyond it, the road remains empty. No headlight approaches. A shallow puddle rests beside the service road. It reflects one floodlight. Then the reflection settles again. No ripple travels far. The water stays contained. A junction box sits low in the ballast. Its lid is closed. A seal tag hangs flat. Cable trays run in straight channels. Bolts hold tight. No cover plate shifts. Wind moves once through the yard. Not enough to lift grit. It fades before it travels far. Weeds stay low between rails. No leaf trembles. A relay clicks from inside the cabinet. One click. Then the baseline hum returns. No horn reaches the ridge. No bell repeats its pattern. A long siding disappears into darkness. No light appears at its end. Distance stays empty. The signal lamps keep their quiet glow. The rails keep their lines. Nothing starts. Nothing ends. The locked switchyard holds its calm shape, quiet and unchanged through the remaining hours of night. Near the entrance, a switch stand carries a white marker. Its paint remains clean. No hand grips the handle. A thin frost line rests on the steel handrail. It does not spread. It does not melt. Under the signal bridge, wiring runs in tidy loops. Clamps hold their spacing. No wire touches the ground. A small speaker cone points toward the tracks. No announcement plays. No test tone sounds. Behind the fence, an interlocking room sits low and square. One window shows a dim interior glow. No silhouette crosses it. Inside, the panel is already set. Route lights remain in their positions. No lever is being pulled. A key rack holds numbered keys on hooks. None are missing. None swing. A paper timetable lies under a clear sheet on the desk. Corners remain flat. No page turns. A heater under the desk cycles once. A small click. Then the same low warmth continues. The chair stays pushed in. Its wheels do not roll. Outside again, ballast keeps its rough texture. Stones remain settled between sleepers. No vibration travels down the rail. A thin strip of reflective paint marks the edge of a maintenance pit. The strip stays bright. The cover remains closed. In the maintenance hut, a toolbox sits on a shelf. Clasps remain closed. No metal clinks. A coil of orange cable rests on a hook. Loops remain even. The loose end stays tucked. At the far crossing, the gate arm stands raised. Red lenses remain dark. The road beyond stays empty. A distant beacon blinks once beyond the basin. It marks distance and nothing more. Floodlights keep fixed pools on gravel. Nothing moves into them. Nothing moves out. Signal lamps remain on along the tracks. The quiet continues. Along the siding, a row of wheel chocks sits stacked on a pallet. The straps remain tight. The pallet does not shift. A worn sign on a post reads, "Work Zone." Letters remain visible. No barrier tape flutters. A drain channel cuts across the service road. Its grate sits flush. No water runs through it. A reflective vest hangs inside the hut doorway. It stays on its hook. No fabric moves. One more relay confirms power from somewhere deeper in the yard. A soft click. Then stillness again. The rails remain straight. The lamps remain dim. The locked yard remains quiet. At the end of the spur, a derailleur marker plate stays bolted to the rail. Its red paint is faded but clear. No wheel approaches it. Grass at the fence line bends once, then settles. No other motion follows. The yard holds its steady night state. No footsteps return. No engine starts. The gate stays chained. The signal lamps keep their dim glow. All remains unchanged. The floodlights keep their fixed pools on gravel. No shadow lengthens. No brightness changes. Along the junction, switch points remain locked. Paint marks stay aligned. No motor engages. A small status lamp on the cabinet holds steady. It does not blink faster. It does not dim. On the service road, the drain grate remains dry. No trickle runs through. Dust stays settled along the edges. Near the gate post, the chain stays tight. The padlock remains centered. No key turns. The trackside phone remains silent. No call light appears. The handset stays seated. Under the signal bridge, cable trays remain closed. Bolts hold their position. No cover plate shifts. A ladder rail keeps its cool shine. Rungs remain untouched. No boot meets the metal. Beyond the bridge, the long siding stays empty. No headlight appears. No wheel noise rises from the dark. A faint breeze passes along the fence line. It bends a few blades of grass. Then it stops. The warning signs remain readable. Nothing swings from their bolts. Nothing flutters. In the ballast, stones keep their rough pattern. vibration travels through the rail. Inside the interlocking room, the window stays dim. No silhouette crosses it. No drawer opens. The panel lights remain in place. No route is being built. No lever moves. A clock hand advances without sound. The room does not react. Outside again, the maintenance pit cover stays shut. The reflective strip stays bright. No footstep enters the marked edge. In the hut, the toolbox clasps remain closed. The orange cable coil keeps its loops. The loose end stays tucked. A vest remains on its hook. Its fabric stays still. At the far crossing, the raised gate remains unchanged. Red lenses remain dark. The road beyond stays empty. A distant beacon blinks once beyond the basin. It marks distance and nothing more. The yard holds its steady night state. No engine starts. No signal changes. The lamps keep their dim glow along the tracks. The quiet continues through the next slow stretch. Near the spur, a derailleur plate stays bolted to the rail. Its faded red paint remains clear. No wheel approaches its edge. A stack of wheel chocks rests on the pallet by the siding. Straps stay tight. The pallet does not shift. A small clipboard box near the gate stays latched. The log sheet inside remains unseen. No pen scratches a line. Along the pole base, grounding cables run to a buried plate. Clamps keep their spacing. No spark mark appears. A speaker cone points down the track. It stays silent. No test tone plays. The camera dome keeps its faint indicator. It does not rotate. Nothing triggers it. One relay confirms power again, deeper in the yard. A soft click, then baseline hum. The sound fades quickly in open air. The rails stay straight. The ballast stays settled. At the cabinet, a sealed tag hangs flat against a screw. Numbers remain readable. The seal does not break. A narrow strip of frost holds on a handrail joint. It stays thin. It does not spread. No moisture gathers on any metal. The air remains dry and cool. Beyond the fence, the basin stays dark. No house light appears. No vehicle climbs the distant road. Only the fixed pools of light remain in the yard. Only the low hum remains. Nothing starts. Nothing ends. The locked switchyard keeps its calm pattern a little longer. A minute passes without notice. Lights hold. Steel holds. And the night stays quiet behind the chain gate.